Don't you just love it? I just love those intros and the different things we can do. Welcome, everybody, to our show. Let me ask you something. Are you outside or are you inside? Well, listen, if you're outside, maybe watching this on your phone, look up, look around. If you're inside, find a window, look out, and look up. Are there any UAPs around anywhere? Are you seeing any? Are you sure? No? Really? They don't have to be in the sky, you know. They can be behind a tree or in your garden. Sandy has some in her garden, I think. Or driving in your car. You just don't know. What am I talking about? UAPs, you know, UFOs, unidentified anomalous phenomenon. This is the world we live in.
He's an unidentified flying object. You will see him in the air. He's an unidentified flying object, and you will drop your hands and stare. You will be afraid to tell you.
Sandy.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Mr. Mark David Smith. I am so glad to be with you today.
Are you? Are you really?
Yeah.
Huh? You've had
yeah.
you've had a massive couple of weeks. She's out there having fun riding roller coasters while I'm sitting here going, "Wow, I sure wish we could do a show this week." But you know, Sandy.
Yeah, it was tough. Let me tell you. Not.
Did you see any UAPs while you were on your trip?
I didn't, but you know, I wasn't on the lookout. I was watching my granddaughter's face as she discovered things. So, you know.
Tell us about. I want to hear about the roller coaster. I want to hear about the fun.
We'll start by saying Mariah now loves roller coasters. And she started off, we went to SeaWorld. And SeaWorld, you know, has the shows and the animals, and she loved that too. But she was concerned, scared to ride anything, pretty much. And we got her on this little roller coaster. And the minute we went down the first, her eyes widened. It's like, great. By the end, she was goading John, saying, "Oh," to ride the largest roller coaster. She's like, "Oh, so you're too chicken, Sparky? You can't do this." So he got on there. She said, "Sonny's done it before. You can't." Bottom line is, he got on there and rode it. He rode it too, so he braved that. But here was the really exciting thing: is that we got stuck. Okay, the one time I'm sitting in the very front car with Mariah, because she did that to me too. "So, Sonny, you're too chicken to ride in the front." So I get in the front with her. We get to the top of this roller coaster and we're stuck. It jolts like this, and it just sticks. So after about 30 minutes of us sitting there, me impatiently, because you know time's important to me, they finally sent the security crew and they started unloading. And of course, we're in the front car. So we're the last to come out. John's behind us. And when they eventually get to us, they let Mariah out. And she's standing there on the side, just leaning that high up on those bars, et cetera, et cetera. And they look at me and they said, "Ma'am, don't be scared." I said, I'm not scared. I said, "But get that child down." I said, "Watch what she's doing. She's acting like she's on the ground. Get her down." And so they got her down, and they had to bring in some special equipment to get me out. And I'm not that kind of stuff. I don't get fearful of it. Just that's not anything. But anyway, that was our one exciting roller coaster adventure we had. And in fact, the second day we were supposed to go to the Aquatica, which is the water part of SeaWorld in San Antonio. And she said, "Sonny, I want to watch shows and go on rides." And she says, "Maybe we could just visit the other side." I said, "It's what you want. That's fine." So She had her favorites. Her favorite roller coaster was the biggest in the park, called the
Yeah.
Steel Eel.
Okay.
Mine was not that one. It was a different one. Oh, what's the name? The Barracuda. It's a brand new one that was in the park. And that was in one where your feet hang. So it was it's a reverse sort of roller coaster. But we had so much fun the very first night that we were there, because we drove all day Thursday. So the first night, Friday, we stayed till the park closed, and they had a drone show that used 400 drones.
Oh, I love those.
Oh, it was incredible. It was over the lake, and they had skiers doing jumps and all sorts of things, and a band playing, and then these drones showing. And it was an amazing, incredible time. And one of the things I love the best, I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed watching her enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because she actually's been once, but she was 7 months old. Like, she could remember that.
Yeah.
But watching her discover all these things, and now she wants to be a marine biologist and work with orcas.
There you go. Cool.
All the animals. She loved all the animals, and she loved watching them work with them. But when she saw the orcas, she was like, that's what I want to do. I want to be with them. So
there is an extremely good show called Aquarium, and it is a series of several shows, and they go into a Florida place where they bring fish from everywhere, and they've got doctors, they've got people that train, they've got, it's a massive aquarium, and the whole thing, and the show is called Aquarium, I think.
Aquarium.
I have watched all the episodes. She would just be fascinated by it. Fascinated.
Well,
I'll send you the link. I don't know.
We're gonna have to check it out, because
that's great.
Like I said, I enjoyed it too, because John went with us, so he took off. Now I drove, so he worked as I was driving there and driving back. So that's 2 days of driving, and he worked that, which is fine. I don't mind that. But it was really nice having him there, and it was, like I said, my favorite thing is watching my granddaughter,
I'm sure,
discover and experience all sorts of things. So that was, and she got to pet the dolphins and feed the dolphins, and
cool.
It was a great, wonderful little short trip. So,
and how old is she right now?
She is 8. Oh, and then on Sunday we took her to John's and my favorite thing to do in San Antonio area. So we took her to New Braunfels, and we got on the river, because I've told you before, John and I like to float the river because we talk. Now, was there any talking this time with a granddaughter there? No. But I didn't think there would be. But she floated the river with us, and she kept standing up. She stood up all the time in her little tube, but she spent a lot of time in the water. So, and then she wanted to go back and do it again. Everything she wanted to do again and again and again. But so she got to do that for the first time too. So it was just great. It was a great, great trip.
Yeah.
I don't often say that, because so many times it's filled with mostly work, because John's working, and so I'm waiting while he's working. When we leave, people, though, half or more of it each day is usually spent with John working.
Really?
So I'm sitting there waiting, but not this trip.
Yeah,
and it was great. It was great.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to miss the show, then you might as well be having fun while you're doing it.
Oh, it was so fun.
Because this is the only fun that we have. So,
Yeah.
Anyway.
Now, I have to say this one last thing.
That's right.
Because there's a lot of water rides in San Antonio. My granddaughter thinks that I need to be drenched, not just a little wet. She thinks I need to sit in the position where I am drenched the whole day. And then if I start drying off a little bit, we better go back to a water ride.
I love it.
Drenched again. And then she just sits there. For some reason, the water just gathered on me all the time. Even for going to a waterfall, somehow John would be on the other side, and it would just come on me. And she just laughs and laughs and laughs. Because I'm trying to.
Yeah. She is a happy child. That's
She
the deal.
is, yeah.
Well, I have to tell you, it was years and years. I can't even ride roller coasters anymore. I'm too dizzy
Yeah.
normally, but I did ride one by my wife never wanted to ride them, and if we went someplace where there was, I'd ride them by myself. And I rode one, and when we got back and they unloaded everybody, my bar wouldn't come up. And
Oh.
so they didn't have the tools with them right then. So they said, "You want to go again?" Sure, let's go again. Yeah. So I went again. They finally had a tool, but they couldn't get it to work or something. And they said, "Well,
Oh,
we got
no.
everybody loaded. Do you want to go again?" Yeah, sure. Third time. Yeah, sure. Let's go. So I went the third time, got back. I said, "Get this up
Yes.
right
Yep.
now."
That
That
3 was
was
enough.
it.
Well, at least it's not stuck in that position and not open,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
pop open or something.
Man, though, to be stuck up high and everything, my Sandy, there's too many bad stories out there about roller coasters these days that
It
would scare the heck out of me. But anyway,
The only thing I was doing is watching the time tick away. That's the only frustration I had until Mariah was out and just leaning and just goofing off up at that height on those bars like she was on the ground. Then everything
love it.
changed. I was like, and I guess they could see it in my face. Oh, ma'am, don't be scared. Not scared being in the
Yeah,
chair.
yeah.
Take care of that child.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad John. Did John get to go with you last time you went? Did this?
Last time we went to Nebraska to see my aunt. He
Oh,
worked.
that's right. That's right. I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah. Okay.
So this was our
didn't think John
second.
had gone.
Yeah, this was our second granddaughter grandma trip,
Oh,
and of course, Amariah wants it to be a while before the others come, but whatever we do, and I'm not. Laura's 2 and the baby's 7 months, so I'm
uh,
not going to be taking them for a while.
yeah. And isn't it funny how? Well, we don't want them along. No, we don't want them along. I'm having fun by myself.
Well, if you had them, it wouldn't. We would be. I'd be sitting back holding the
Yeah.
baby,
Yeah.
and no, I actually couldn't even do that if John wasn't with me.
Yeah, no, you'd have to have
Yeah.
Jonathan and Killian with you. There's no way you're
Yeah,
doing it by yourself.
couldn't happen.
Yeah.
That's right. It couldn't happen.
All right, gosh, summertime.
Summertime.
Here we are, summertime. Yeah, Don and I got something we're going to do here pretty soon. I can't remember what it was, but anyway, we got a little plan for something. I don't know what it is.
Well, good.
Anyway, let's get on with our show. I've got some new stuff to show, and I got a lot of different things that I'm working on. And so let's get started. First one we're going to do here is UFO. Did you like that one?
Yes, I like all of them.
We got Taken Up.
Today, even the intro today, I loved it. Loved
it. We got Taken Up. We get taken up.
We're taken up.
I don't remember a thing, but there's video. I don't want to know who.
That's supposed to be the way it is.
What?
That's supposed to be the way it is. You don't remember.
Yeah, there it is, right there. All right. Well, in the last segment we did on 5 words coined since the 50s, we talked about the origins of the acronym UFO, or Unidentified Flying Objects, which is to describe any aerial phenomenon that could not be readily identified. And to avoid the implication that the objects were necessarily disshaped or controlled by intelligent beings. By the mid-50s, the term had become standard in both military and civilian context, eventually entering popular culture as synonymous with potentially extraterrestrial spacecraft. Today, they are commonly called UAPs, or unidentified anomalous phenomenon. You know, Sandy, it was easier to say unidentified flying objects.
Anomalous.
I
Anomalous.
know. It's so fun. When Donna and I say it, we have fun with it every time. Anyway,
Yeah, I think so.
I love it. UAPs is the term the U.S. government now uses instead of UFO. The Department of Defense defines UAP as anything in space, in the air, on land, in the sea, or under the sea. I haven't figured that one out yet, but anyway, anything that can't be identified and might pose a threat to U.S. military installations or operations. Most of the time, the government doesn't even look at a particular incident as being alien, but that it could be a threat from another country that may have technology we know nothing about. On May 2026, the War Department declassified past government documents, revealing a massive amount of information that tends to lean in favor of "we are not alone." The terminology is designed to capture the full range of things that remain unexplained after an initial analysis. The Pentagon established the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, the AARO, as its central hub for UAP. And I'm going to pop this up on the stage here. Let's go. Let's just jump to this. This is that website. It's aaro.mil. It's real easy to get to. But when you get there, it's got all kinds of things. And this is a military site. I mean, it's access to us. But if you come down here to where it says UAP imagery, and you go over here, it's got all these new videos that they've released. And so let's just pop one on here and see what we get and watch. I don't know if you've watched any of these or not, Sandy, but they are pretty interesting. Let's just pop it up there while AARO's mission is to detect, identify, and attribute objects of interest in, on, or near military installations, operating areas, training areas, and special use airspace. It coordinates across the Department of Defense and with other federal agencies, and it serves as the authoritative office for all UAP related activities, including briefings to Congress and public communications. So is that one over there? Oh, it's still going. Oh, it just started again. Let's do another one. Let's go to here. I've watched all these. These are fascinating. They
you're
really
doing
are.
this. Well,
Yeah.
you're.
Yeah.
Oh,
What?
do you find it amazing that that no matter what, our technology for camera and video is way beyond even what we have on our fingertips. But when it comes to things that we're not supposed to really know or see, it's always fuzzy.
It's always what?
It's always almost unintelligible or grainy or fuzzy when it comes to things they don't want to see.
Yeah. Well, that's like as here's another place here. This is well, you can see that. So I'm gonna play this. This has got some even more fascinating stuff on there. NASA has taken a parallel but distinct role. In 2023. The agency commissioned an independent study team to evaluate what types of scientific data both from the government archives and from some civilian sources, could help explain UAPs. The FAA also plays a role in the aviation side. Let's see, yeah, in the I'm sorry. Pilots and air traffic controllers who observe UAP activity are required to report specific details to the National Tactical Security Operations Team. Aircraft call sign, location, altitude, flight direction, a general description of the UAP, including its altitude and speed and whether it appeared on radar displays. Civilians who want to file a report are directed to AARO's website. What the data actually shows, this is what's interesting. It kind of goes along with what you were just saying, Sandy. A 2022 annual report from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence analyzed 366 newly identified UAP reports. More than half turned out to be unremarkable once the investigators took a closer look. Of those, 163 were characterized as balloons or balloon-like objects, 26 as drones or drone-like entities, and 6 as airborne clutter. That left 171 reports, nearly half, that remained uncharacterized and attributed after initial analysis. So, I hope you're enjoying the UAP video here. This is amazing. Of course, Sandy, you know, we've talked about this before. I watch a show called on the History Channel called Skinwalker Ranch. And let me tell you what, these guys, they're extreme, but they live in a place in Utah where UAPs are just common, and they've cataloged so many different instances of things that have happened that just fascinate me. I mean, I know it's a lot of hype and everything, and they exaggerate things from time to time, but for the most part, some of the things that they see are just absolutely fascinating. So there you go. There's a lot more to that, but let's get back to us. Anyway, next week we'll talk about the 5 observables, 5 flight characteristics that show up repeatedly in the most puzzling UAP reports. And they represent behaviors that don't match any known aircraft, drone, or natural phenomenon. So don't miss next week's conclusion to UAPs. So, Sandy, what do you think? What does it fascinate you, or are you like, you know?
It does fascinate me to see the enemy's agenda and how the end times are playing out and how the deceptions will occur. And if you're not grounded in the word, you're going to fall for everything, hook, line, and sinker, and you're going to be caught up. So, yeah, it absolutely fascinates me to see what's going on and to see a little bit beyond the veil that's in front of us that's being revealed and has been being revealed to man for some time, since the beginning, since the fall.
Yeah.
And so, absolutely, it does fascinate me.
Yeah. You know me, and I'm wide open, and that's kind of the deal. Is I don't just I have no blind faith. I have no blind belief system. Anything, you know. I can be. I'm not gullible, but I think that I have been proven many times in my life. I have been proven that a lot of the things that I thought were one way are not that way. And a lot of the things that we're taught are not that way. I've been taught so many things that I'm not skeptical of, well, I am. I'm skeptical of things, but I'm just not gullible, and I want to hear it. I want to hear all the different things. I mean, if let's just say that there really are beings from another world, or there are parallel universes, or whatever like that. If there really are, and somebody has some kind of information or some kind of their own evidence, it's not wrong to look at that. You can look at it, you can take it in, because if all of a sudden this afternoon an alien spaceship shows up and hovers over our house, then I would like to have at least been somewhat informed that there's a possibility that they're there, rather than never hear anything about anything ever, nothing at all, and then all of a sudden they show up. That would be a little scary to me.
Well,
I think if they did show up, I don't think I'd be all that scared of them, because I'm kind of acclimated myself.
Well, I believe that there are things out there like that, but the origin of those things are not, and this is my belief,
I get you.
are come from the fallen and the demonic and that dimensional stuff that the enemy has been playing with us. Because let's face it, the word says that there are other beings. Because what do we fight against? Powers, principalities, and dark forces. We see from the beginning that it talks about the fallen and trying to that got together with the women and created what the hybrids, which became the Nephilim, which become demonic spirits, which are embodied. Now, what else that they have done and created over time is all there, but it's all about the seed. And if they couldn't mix the seed of Yeshua, because it's all a seed war, then they're going to try to take that seed, distract us to believe another scenario. Now, so here's the problem. Unless you're grounded in the word, when a spaceship does show up, what we would call a spaceship or whatever, but really it's just this technology that we see. It's going to deceive many. And I think, anyway, that's what I'm going to talk about, that kind of stuff today. So
I love it.
Yeah,
I do. I love it. I think that's a great way to look at it, and it's very mature. It's very common sense way to look at it, and I agree with you. It's there are many times when there are like all of a sudden things will happen where a lot of people like create a riot, or bad thing. People have devised a whole bunch of things that would happen, even like COVID. I think that there are times when people open themselves up to the demonic world, that
absolutely.
the demonic world releases a bunch of demons that come out and embody the people that are open to it, and then we have a whole range of different things that are happening. I just think, well, they must have opened the demonic gate, and let it out. Because I mean, for instance, let's look at the I look at the news every day, 7 days a week. I'm checking things out. I'm not a big news person, but I want to know what's going on. And every single day there is a plane that's crashed. There is a shooting. There is something devastating going on. Somebody's missing, or murders that have happened, or whatever. Every single day, Sandy. And that's like the school shootings, those type of things. I think there's a specific demon that comes out and is a part, and then gets with, I don't want to say embodies them, but I don't know how else to put them. But I think there's specific demons for those specific purposes, and they're released. They're when people
Absolutely. Yeah.
open themselves to it, they're released. But you have to open yourself to it.
Well,
So,
I do believe there's powers and principalities that are over certain areas, but as cities and states and nations give over themselves and remove Yeshua from and his word from them, then you're first off, you're opening yourself up. Secondly, I'm also one because we have a deliverance ministry that does believe sin opens up for the demonic too. Now there's a difference between oppression and possession, because you can say, well, there's alcoholism runs in my family. Well, normally that's demonic and it can be broken. Addiction is demonic. Um, or anger. Okay, I'll tell you something. Have you ever been around somebody and in a flash they can be angry? My family, and I'm included, I've dealt with it too. You could see that happen. I've even seen it in my granddaughter before, and it's demonic. But that's not the big thing that we're talking about. What you're talking about are those entities which sort of control that. And absolutely. Now, what I was going to talk about here in a little bit was about actually that very thing. And you can see it. We see where the world is going right now, because it says, as in the days of Noah, it would be the same way. And the world had given itself, people had given themselves over. Not only were there hybrids and all of this other junk that experimenting, we think experimenting with DNA is new now. No, it's not. But people now, for power and fame and money, they will used to be hidden. Now it's an agenda that they'll tell you right out in front. I was studying some things out this morning preparing for the show, and I was looking at these different pictures of people that have given themselves, that are showing the mark of Lucifer, which is different than the mark of the beast. And I won't do that. I should have gotten you pictures so you could have it, but I didn't. So I'm Vigilant Citizen. I think vigilantcitizen.com. I don't know if it's .com or .org, but anyway, and you can see them, and you can see them mocking and laughing at people of faith, but also it is a big deal to give yourself over to Lucifer right now, because then you gain the power and the fame and the things that you want, and you're part of that Illuminati kind of all this other stuff that's going on. So do we think that this area in New Mexico and Epstein Island, all of that is done by people that have just have a bad agenda? No, it's so demonic and so evil. You go all the way back to Heinrich Himmler and what's the guy's name? It begins with an M. He did experiments on children. Mendela.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go all the way back there, and and it goes beyond that. I mean, it goes way beyond that.
Sure.
But the evil is so pervasive. There's a progression that has happened where we can open ourselves up completely to the demonic, to be completely guided and moved by that entity which lies within us. That's possession. That is completely different than oppression. Oppression is something all of us deal with from the demonic realm, because the demons, the Nephilim, they're not like us. They're spirits that are roaming around looking for a body to possess so that they can experience those very things, whether it's anger or lust or whatever. I mean, they want to express their personality. And normally when you see someone that has a problem with that, that is part of what is going on. And it's not possession. It's like a marker, and you gotta be delivered from it. And I've seen people switch when you hit on the demon that doesn't want to leave. I saw somebody just all of a sudden slither on the ground and just come after, and they're like, and I'm like, get out of here, get out in the name of Yeshua. But like I said, that's not what the show is about. But you are 100% right. What we see going on in the evil in the earth is dealing with beings that are not human, entities that are not human, that can take on us or and it goes beyond this. But this demonic stuff, does drive people to do what they do. And when power, money, fame, et cetera, where you don't have Yeshua as part of your life, you're not grounded in the word, you open yourself up to these other things. It might be one little step, but if that continues, you're not you anymore. You're still you, but those other things are the
Sure.
ones that influence you.
Sure.
So this isn't a new thing. That's what's amazing. We think this is new, but it's not. This kind of agenda has been this alien. If you look at other cultures talk about these alien beings from way back. It's not a new thing. It's just in our sophisticated Western culture, we've pushed it behind us, and in reality, it's Hasatan counterfeits over and over, and he keeps doing the same thing. Let's try to destroy the
Yeah.
seed. Let's try
Yeah.
to destroy those that are going to be in the kingdom, because it is a kingdom against kingdom war. But we've got to be ground. You're either in Yeshua's kingdom all in, or you're on the other side, because you can't be a little of both.
Mm.
So, and that's what we're seeing.
Yeah. Like,
I'm
see,
starting to
no,
go ahead.
I love it, and you're so dead on. But bringing it to the UAPs, how do we know that that's not a physical manifestation of how demons get to Earth? Or, I mean, we've heard of the gates of hell. How come there isn't a possibility that there is a portal that is a gate to hell, and how the demons go from one parallel universe or whatever to ours? Maybe once they're in ours, that's how it appears, is those little white dots that
Yeah.
flow around and everything, and they've got a mission, they're headed somewhere, and we
Well,
just picking them up that way.
well, you were talking about the disc-like craft as I was studying things out for this show. That actually is not new. That seems to be the most common shape of things that have been found even back thousands of years ago. Could that be the way that things happen? Absolutely. But I also think we know to travel from dimension to dimension, it's the blink of an eye. Alyssa says it's knee high. See,
Sure.
I don't think, me personally, this is my opinion, you don't have to have that. But how else could you worship those beings as gods? Unless a vehicle. Okay, see, I've come from out here. I've come from to sort of push
Sure.
aside
Sure.
that thought of dealing with the enemy and his cohorts and his team. When I say his team, that's going to include the whole lot. And so, me personally, I think that craft it helps our finite minds, our human minds, think more fall for those beings as gods, because in the past they were worshipped as gods and demigods, and having a spacecraft makes it much more plausible.
Mhm.
um could it happen that way? Could you need it to travel? Absolutely, you could. But I know dimensional travel, even those that are going beyond the collider, what's it called in Switzerland, those that have been traveling between dimensions, it hasn't taken a vehicle. It takes an open portal, as you said, a portal. And those that have gone in and taken the blood, drank the adrenochrome, have traveled to that other dimension and saw beings. And they don't need a vehicle to go from dimension to dimension to that evil, horrible realm. But I don't think we as people would find it, we wouldn't be as easily, we would question that more than a vehicle arriving on in our midst.
Right.
That's going to make us go, ooh, is
Right.
there a God? You know,
Right. You know, for instance, like the intro that I made with the saucer and it comes down. Yeah, that all those images, everything you've ever seen, are all created by man. They are all created as this must be what they look like. You know, you can watch the movie Independence Day and so many other movies that are out there that depict spacecrafts. That those are all made up out of somebody's mind. Nobody has ever actually seen those things happen. To
Or are
me,
they? Could they
well,
be demonically influenced
no,
in our
that's
mind?
what I'm saying is that the demonic will use that to make us think that, eventually this is going to happen. And if one showed up, how do we know it's not Satan's devices to deceive us once more? We don't know that.
Oh, I in my heart, I
Satan
believe
will use.
100%. I believe
Yeah,
100% it will be Satan and his
yeah.
devices.
It,
That for me personally,
right,
if I see that, I'm not going to be
right,
surprised because I
right,
expect it
right,
actually.
exactly.
Especially, I mean, why does Disclosure Day come out exactly at the time when there's a release of all of these? Let's come on. And these beings that we see, these big-headed, big eyes things,
Uh,
I think there's something to that. I think of supposedly Steven Spielberg actually got to be able to see some of that stuff. So I do believe that that is one of the the demonic creation. I don't know how to say it. Fallen angel creation,
sure,
the form that they've taken,
sure.
and in the movie, the movie Disclosure Day is all about how we mistreat them and how they're friendly and good. Now, does that not set something up? Doesn't it? Huh.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
I
we
haven't
should be
seen it
nice.
yet,
Be
so
nice to the aliens. Be nice to the aliens.
okay.
But I see. I'm jumping into my spot, so I hope you don't
Oh, wait,
care.
this is your Sandra's corner?
Well, yeah, but we don't have to have an intro. I mean, it's. I mean, I've
No,
been
I'm
doing it
with
for
you.
this
I
whole
go
time.
ahead with it. I don't. Yeah, I'm with
Okay,
you.
then I'm going to jump in real
Yeah,
quick because
jump
it's all
into
going to
that.
relate to what Mark has been talking about last time we met, this time and next week. But I think we've got to ask the question: does Spielberg's idea, his movie, does it prepare us? What's it preparing us for? Because we know movies, shows, things try to push an agenda and prepare people to take the pill. I don't remember if Matrix is the red pill or the blue pill, but they want us to take one of those, right?
Uh,
And fall for deception. But this film coincides with all these government UFO or UAP conspiracy files, and so things are happening. And one theory that's out there is with this movie being deliberately hyped to generate more viewership because the film is designed to prepare us for something that's about to happen. Hmm. Be nice to aliens. Anyway, so maybe he's coming out of Spielberg. He came out of retirement for the show, and he says it's really sort of like a trilogy. So we have E.T. Was E.T. first or Close Encounters?
E.T. and then
You have
close.
E.T., Close Encounters, and then this one. So
Yeah.
I heard him say this is like my trilogy of movies, and my
Yeah.
mom encouraged me, and she, uh, you know, have wants me to look at it out there, and I think that is an agenda that's being pushed by the powers that be, and Spielberg is just he's in the lead. I mean, how many of us, if we hear that Spielberg did the movie, we go, "Oh, then it's probably a good movie." I've said that before.
Sure.
so
Sure.
so
It's very well put together.
yeah, because he is excellent at his
Yeah.
storytelling.
Right.
So who better to get to push this agenda than Steven
Sure.
Spielberg? And because he's like this amazing storyteller, but it is used to generate this propaganda. So then we have to go back and look. This propaganda is out there and has been being pushed by so many things so far for so long. So Disclosure Day itself is about these rebels that try to protect the alien life because man hides it away, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, we have this idea that religion's also being questioned here because one of the characters is like, what's this going to do? Will these aliens be worshipped? Will there even believe there's a god if there's aliens out there? And I have to stop and say, I can see if when, I'm not going to say if, when the enemy uses uses this fallen, this however they're whatever they are, and they show up because they are that we're all being prepped for that. Is it going to cause people to say, well, there must not be a God? Or is it going to cause people to see them as the gods? Because that's also something I've heard. We are the ones that seeded the earth. We are the ones that did this. So then they will become the gods. They will become the idols. I, I think there's a reason that Yah has told us, do not make or worship idols. Do not worship anyone but me. Because in the past, if you look at past history, when these kind of things have shown up in the ancients, they worship them. Now, we're a much more quote unquote sophisticated society, ha ha, but I think the same thing will happen. Uh, okay, let's go to Independence Day. Let's go to the very first movie. When they're showing up, they haven't blown everybody up yet, but the craft is there. What are the people out there doing? Woo, holding
Yeah,
signs, come, hey, hey, we want to see
yeah,
you. We'll be nice to you. And then what does the White House do? Hello, we're sending you these friendship vibes. Come be our friends. Everything is destroyed. So here's this religious twist that's happening in the midst of it. I think is very real, and it's a real discussion that we need to have even with our young people,
hmm
and we need to make sure they are grounded in the word, because when this stuff actually does start showing up on the scene physically, where it to the masses, there are many different things that can happen. People can walk away from God, people can begin worshiping them from God, or they can begin to influence it in a way, influence society, or third, in a way that really pushes us to the enemy's agenda, really pushes us. So, because we're going to be in awe of these intelligent beings, well, so are they going to dethrone God? Yahweh is sovereign of the universe. Are they? Are they going to take his place? Are they going to influence us that? Because remember, there's something out there. Who is it? Is it the Jehovah Witnesses or whatever that said God and Satan, or Jesus and Satan are brothers? And
yeah, yeah.
but there's others out there that really Jesus is the bad guy, and I'm saying Jesus
Gabriel
because
is
that's the
big,
and and Lucifer's a good guy.
right, right.
So there, again, it's a kingdom against kingdom, and you even go back. Jewish thinkers have actually gone over and wrestled with this concept for a long time themselves, and this idea that curse, moros, um, curse bitterly its inhabitants, and so the Talmud actually says moros was, I guess, a planet, and they cursed Israel. So I mean, you're talking Talmud, you're talking oral law. Do I believe any of
Sure,
it? No, I don't.
sure.
and but it was this, maybe a star, a planet, a star, and it was a whole world of inhabitants that failed to uh that didn't come to help Israel out. But that's Jewish tradition. And then you have the Sefer Habrit takes and runs it with it even further and says there are other planets that may well be inhabited. And Rabbi Kasdei Kriskas, he has a whole chapter of Or Hashem to arguing that nothing in the Torah rules out alien life. Again, there is a life that's not like you and me. The Bible clearly says that. I'm going to repeat it because you heard me say it before. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against what? Powers, principalities,
Principalities.
other, yeah. So we can go with that. But the Zohar, and that's that mystic text, says there's worlds without number, and that they're inhabited. So here we have this idea, even in Jewish tradition, that promotes all of this being set up by the world. So here's my problem. We're dealing with tradition again. So, how many of our brother are going to fall for this tradition because it's not grounded in
Sure,
truth,
sure.
in my opinion. And I'm saying in my opinion, folks, you don't have to agree with me, and that is 100%. Mark doesn't have to agree with me, and that's okay. But this is my opinion. So, we have this guy that's pushing this agenda that happens to be when the papers are coming out, and he talks about his mom's influence, and then he talks about also when he did this movie with Close Encounters, he needed a lot of imagination, but he says none of my movies now should be called science fiction. They're science speculation.
I love it.
So
That's
he
great.
says, yeah. So here's your question. If an alien showed up, this is a question, right? If an alien showed up on your doorstep tomorrow, how would you react? Or would you react the same way you would 50 years ago? No, we've already, because of movies and things like that, 50 years ago, what was that? The War of the Worlds that freaked everybody out on the radio show.
War of the Worlds.
Yeah. Now that's over 50 years ago. And
Yeah.
the whole society seemed to almost just go crazy immediately after that. Would we react the same way now? No, I don't think we would as a society, because we've been being prepared for this for some time. I think, personally. But here, let's go back to this line in this movie. It says, I don't want to be anyone's religion. Movies shape our worldview. They
Well,
do.
I don't want to be anybody's religion either.
Me either.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But we do. We have this. This is obviously happening, and it's going. It is going to show up on the scene, folks. So if you think this is just hype, it's not. We are going to see this in real time happening before. So what if, I'm going to turn this on a dime, what if the coming deception isn't about visitors from another planet? What if it's just ancient spiritual realities being repackaged for this generation? Because Matthew 24:37 does say, as were the days of Noah, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. Yeshua specifically points us back to that day for a reason and a purpose. So again, I don't believe this is new. We've seen the foundations, and we've seen these very scenarios already played out for thousands of years. Genesis 6:2-4 says, the sons of God saw the daughters of men, and they were fair, and they took them wives, all of which they chose. And it goes on, there were giants in earth in those days and the days after. Okay, those beings weren't like you and I. So that passage has been debated for a long time, but all we do know is something unnatural did happen. We need to remember it occurred before the flood. Boundaries were crossed. Boundaries are being crossed now. Dimensions are being lowered or being crossed. Things are happening. But what is the result when you cross God's boundaries, when Yah's boundaries? There's always judgment. So we see this is a prophetic warning. Beware. It says even the elect can be deceived, or would be deceived, or are being deceived. Which is it? Or all of the above. So it's going to be this way when Yeshua returns. Deception's going to increase. So how are we being deceived? Well, I think we've been being set up for it for some time. Shaul said, again, Ephesians 6:12, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. But get this in your head, folks. Powers, but against powers, principalities, rulers of darkness, and spiritual forces of wickedness in heavenly places. Now, where's heaven? Heaven is now outside the earth, right? It's another realm. It's not here. So we have that idea actually happening. So we're dealing with real spiritual entities that are operating behind the scenes of human history and are operating behind the scenes today. And Greeks called them titans, gods. They've been called in other cultures divine kings, heavenly beings, cultural bringers. But all these societies have worshiped them. But what's the word say? There is only one true Yah. You only worship him, one true God. And so what if the previous generations called gods, our generation now calls extraterrestrials? What the previous generation called heavenly beings, we might call non-human intelligences. What the last previous, yeah, what, yeah, or what the previous generations were worshipped in temples, we worship through technology, through science, through promises of human advances, knowledge. You'll gain knowledge if you follow me. And that to me goes back to Indiana Jones. On all the movies, what did they want? The Nazis wanted the knowledge. Give me the knowledge. Even the last, anyway. So the packaging has changed, or at least it's not hidden anymore. It's becoming outright right in the forefront. So we also, alongside of this, have this idea that this flesh isn't good enough. We need to come together with technology, with or morph into splicing beings, changing our DNA, or come together with this robotics AI. So this transhumanism is also coming along the tails of this very thing. So humanity is told that our future is transcending in the way we have been created. Now, who would change Yah's creation? Whose agenda would that be? So
Could it
whether
be?
it's through
Could it be Satan?
yes. So whether it's through genetic engineering, DNA manipulation, AI, artificial intelligence, modification, biological modification, technological integration, we're pursuing this dream. Man is pursuing this dream, this ancient dream, even of being something greater than we are, living longer than our lifespans are supposed to. Is this new? No, go back to Gan Eden. Go back to the Garden of Eden. Basically, Hasatan's telling Mrs. Adam, you don't know everything. He's held something back from you. Do you want to know it more so that you can do what you need to do? See, the enemy, the serpent, Hasatan, promises hidden knowledge to people. He promises enlightenment, that you could become like God. Aren't those very things what we hear today? Those hear those same words. And so maybe all of this is just the repackaging in a new and different form, so that in this last hour the enemy can gather all the masses he can into his kingdom. It talks about the remnant small. Why is that? Because we are an easily deceived people, because we're not grounded in the word. We take the word, and whether it's on Shabbat or whether it's on Sundays or one day a week, and we let somebody else tell us what to think instead of checking everything out. And by the way, don't believe a word I say. You go check everything out yourself, please. And 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 we expect to withstand all the forces of the enemy's kingdom coming upon us when we don't even we aren't grounded in Yah's kingdom. It's not going to happen. And the masses are going to be deceived. And this enemy alien thing is real. It's just not as in my opinion, it's not as we think it should be. I have a whole bunch more, but I'm taking up all the time of the show. So
No, this has been good. Yeah, it fits right in. I love it. I love
well,
it. Let me just say that if an alien showed up at my doorstep, uh, I would be, wow, this is really cool. Hey, how you doing? Of course, I don't know what form it would be, but I would want to touch it and talk to it. Do you speak English? This type of thing. I think I would. I think it would be like, hey, what's up, man? Are you really an alien or a demon or what are you? That kind of thing. Who
I
knows?
think I
Who
would
knows?
I think I would say the name Yeshua HaMashiach. Get thee behind me,
There you go.
Satan.
There you go. I
And
I
I
would
think my
I would
husband would attest to that. That's
I,
exactly what I would do. So
I would I would let me never mind. Uh, but from the beginning, even the series of movies Transformers have alluded to the fact that they've been on Earth, since the beginning. It's just they've been around, they're here, that type of thing. Another show that my daughter and I used to absolutely love, and I have all the discs from it. The show called Fringe, and this show talked about there's several years of series on it, but it was all about another dimension, and there was a duplicate dimension type thing, and they dealt with the demonic of it, and that type of thing. It was really good. But here's my initial thought here. Think back before there was technology, and all the people living on the earth had not actually seen pictures or video or anything of the earth. All we saw was at nighttime, we saw the moon, we saw the stars, that type of thing. So we knew before we were informed of these things, we knew that we were probably on a planet, and probably we just don't know. But if you don't travel very far, back in the day when they couldn't travel like we travel today, the communication we have today and the technology we have today, was it wrong to think, are we the only ones? You see what I'm saying? I can see how that would progress. It would be like, well, look at all of that. Look at there's that big round orange thing out there too. So that must be a planet, and we must be on a planet. Maybe there are other planets out there that we just can't see. I mean, to me, logically, I don't see how it's wrong to think of these things. But when technology started forming and we were able to actually see the earth and see, with a telescope, you could see the other planets and stuff. That's when man's imagination starts working with everything when they're not actually serving God. If you're not serving God, you're not in that mindset, how else are you going to think?
That's exactly how you're
see what
going
I'm
to think.
saying? I don't think it's wrong that man came up
No.
with this. It's not wrong to think that way, but it's all given because of lawlessness.
Absolutely.
All because they don't have a relationship with the one and only true God. And so that's my bottom line to a lot of this, is that it's fun, it's interesting, it's kind of cool.
It is.
Great movies and
who knows?
I
mean, the universe, it's beyond our own imagination, and Yah can do anything he wants. But what he's already written his plan for this planet, for this people,
right.
And that's where we need to be grounded on what he's written. And if it everything comes in 2 or 3 witnesses. If it doesn't align with his word, and it doesn't align, if we're not in that word, then we need to discard it. If we don't understand something, of course we can put it on a shelf till we study. But I won't limit him, but I know what his plan is for us.
I love it. That's exactly right. You're dead on. I'm so with you. Okay, well, I think this has been really good. And we've spent an hour doing this now, and I think it's great. It'll make a great little segment, please. But really good. Thanks, Sandy, for bringing all of that. And
well, I didn't even get to the Vatican influence. We may have to save that for another show. So
yeah, do bring it back. And I got a couple other things, and we're not going to get to everything this week, but I do want to get to a couple things. Before we do, let's do this. So, Sandy, I have run across the show that is called uh, "How the States Got Their Borders" or something like that. I can't remember exactly the name, but there's all kinds of websites out there you can go and see the original way that the states were formed, and believe it or not, believe it or not, we've had some really weird shapes of states and stuff that and how they got their form and things like that. So I want to start this off. Let me add this to the stage here. And Sandy, did you know that we used to have, or almost had, a state almost the size of North Carolina that was called Transylvania? And it was in, well, let me go through these. So I'm gonna show you a couple things here. It sounds ominous, but the Transylvania colony, also referred to the Transylvania Purchase or Henderson Purchase, a short-lived extra legal colony founded in early 1775 by North Carolina land speculator Richard Henderson, who formed and controlled the Transylvania Company. Henderson and his investors had reached an agreement to purchase a vast tract of Cherokee lands west of the southern and central Appalachians. I actually should be back here at this picture, which is not very big. Sorry about that. So it's kind of hard to see, but you can see Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, and here is another state that is just massively big. Well, Henderson and his investors had reached an agreement to purchase this tract of Cherokee lands. And according to the Tennessee Encyclopedia, many historians believe Richard Henderson purchased over 20 million acres of land for what was equivalent of approximately $13,445. To further complicate matters, this frontier land was also claimed by the Virginia colony and a southern portion of the province of North Carolina. The Transylvania colony was located in what is now the central and western parts of Kentucky and a chunk of north central Tennessee. The American pioneer and frontier explorer, and now we do, Daniel Boone was hired by Henderson to establish the wilderness road going through the Cumberland Gap and into southeastern Kentucky to facilitate settlement. A government compact was concluded by the settlers in May 1775. Henderson's Transylvania claim in Kentucky was invalidated by the Virginia General Assembly in 1778. The remaining Tennessee portion was invalidated by North Carolina in 1783. Henderson was compensated with a land grant along the Ohio River in western Kentucky, and the current town of Henderson was founded there. So what they did was in March 1775, Richard Henderson and Daniel Boone met with more than 1,200 Cherokee at Sycamore Shoals, which is present-day Elizabethton in northeastern Tennessee. Present were Cherokee leaders with 5 grant deeds that constituted the Treaty of Sycamore Shoals. And this is a picture of Sycamore Shoals. Henderson purchased all the land offered. The land was delineated, 20 million acres encompassed an area half the size of present-day Kentucky. Henderson and his partners Henderson and his partners probably believed that a recent British legal opinion, the Pratt-York opinion, had made such purchases legal. The problem is, in fact, the Transylvania Company's purchase was in violation. And there you can kind of see this whole thing here. You can see right around where Asheville is. Was the purchase was in violation of both Virginia and North Carolina law, as well as the Royal Proclamation of 1763, which prohibited private purchase of American Indian land and the establishment of any non-crown sanctioned colony. A dissident Cherokee chief, his name being Dragging Canoe, refused to sign, endorse, or obey the Treaty of Sycamore Shoals, declaring that it is bloody ground and will be dark and difficult to settle. It would prove to be prophetic, and subsequently Kentucky came to be referred to by the sardonic phrase dark and bloody ground. Dragging Canoe left the Sycamore Shoals Treaty grounds and took Dragging Canoe into, so you can see it kind of there where it is. Let's see. All right, hold on. I lost my place here. Despite these efforts, the Congress declined to act without the consent of Virginia and North Carolina, both of whom claimed jurisdiction over the region in question. In 1776, Virginia General Assembly prohibited the Transylvania Land Company from making any demand on settlers in the region. In 1778, Virginia Assembly finally declared the Transylvania claim void. In compensation, Henderson and his partners received a grant of 200,000 acres, which equals about 312 square miles, on the Ohio River below the mouth of the Green River, and another grant of 200,000 acres in Powell Valley. An early settlement there was named Red Banks and became the city of Henderson in 1797. Had his original agreement been legal, we would have a state between North Carolina and Kentucky called Transylvania. And so let's remove this, and get us back. Sorry about that. I'm not really good at producing. But isn't that interesting? We would have a state called Transylvania and it would have been half the size of Kentucky if this hadn't gone through.
Well, been so interested in what you said. I pulled it up, and there was this thing that said we could potentially have been 124 states or whatever, and I pulled up the map.
Oh yeah,
it's fascinating.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating.
That's why I said this is something new I've just found in the past about 3 weeks that has been fascinating me. It's just like so
I like
much.
It. I want to study this out. I like that too. That's really neat.
Well, I've got another one for you. There's let's see what is there's was a part of land that was Forgetonia or something like that, and we even at one point worked with South Africa, the United States at one point way back in the Civil War days, to make a portion of South Africa to be called Negro land. Yeah, I know. The history on some of these things that has been done over the centuries for different things is just amazing.
Forgetonia is between Illinois and part of Missouri.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very fascinating.
It is. So I'm going to make this a series. I'll bring some more stuff and some pictures.
You could even do one or two states per thing
Yeah,
and tell a little bit of the history. That's
yeah,
really neat.
yeah. Let me see what I put together here. But okay, 45. We have got to be done. No, we don't. We've got to be done early. Um, Real quick, let me do one more thing here that I really think is really cool, and I'm going to take it. We'll just start this week, and then I have a whole lot more to bring us on this subject in the next few shows. But let me play this real quick. Oh, I forgot to put music to it. I made that real quick and forgot to put music behind it. So we got. So this segment is our Bible site still around today, and so and I don't have that. I should have had that. Share screen. Give me a second here. Let me get it back. I'm going to show you here that yes, there is Nineveh is here, and guess this is actually showing the this is the area where Nineveh is today, and you can see down here it says the southern wall of Nineveh city, so you can kind of see this wall here. There, if you go big, then you're going to see way up here is the northern wall, and there's different gates. All around here is the old city of Nineveh. And of course, we know the story of Jonah, and God told him to go preach to Nineveh, and he said no. And then this whale swallowed him up, spit him out, and he went to Nineveh. Well, Sandi, where do you think the city of Nineveh is today? In what part of the world do you think it is today?
The Middle East.
The Middle East. It's actually in the northern part of. Let's take a look here. Let me see here. It is in the northern part of Iraq.
So in the Middle East.
And it
so
yeah, in the Middle East, and there's your deal of Nineveh. But if you, I can't make it do it, and I had it, but this area right here is all Iraq, and it's in the northern part. And next week, or next time I bring this up, we're going to talk about Babylon, and Babylon is in the southern part of Iraq. But I want you to see. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
There you go. Iraq finally showed up. I want you to see how far though it is from water, and
that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, that was Donna's first question. Is well, I thought that that Nineveh was on the ocean, and he got swallowed by a whale and all that, but when you look at it, it's quite a ways from any water, and that's just the Mediterranean that you see there. And so, anyway, doesn't mean anything one way or the other, but still, it's.
And if you think Nineveh was a prosperous city, Nineveh was very much ruled by a ruler.
Uh-huh.
And of course, they were following pagan ways, which everybody is, unless they follow Yah. But one thing that is unique about Nineveh is their immediate repentance.
Uh-huh.
And you think of that whole area, it was prosperous, it was big,
Uh-huh.
but the people immediately repented. And so when I look at that land, I want to look at that. But my first question was, how is that close to water? I'm just like Donna, like.
Yep.
How did that work? And then I'm like, where's the tree? Where was the place that he was where the plant came in? We
I
would never
know.
know that, but
I know. I
um,
know.
but
But
then he stayed. He stayed for a while.
yeah. Well,
So
I don't know. And next week or next time I do this, I'm going to have a whole lot more information because Nineveh and Babylon actually the king and the history of the king of both of those places, they were at constant battles with each other. And so the king of Nineveh actually took over Babylon and wanted to make it the biggest city in the world and all the different things. And I've got pictures of the archaeology sites and everything, and it is just fascinating. It's just so
that's
good to see even the
very cool.
story, the history that's there between the two cities, and both of them are in Iraq. And that's what I thought. And they're doing a lot of excavation there. So anyway, ever since Bush went into Iraq, we've kind of been good friends with them. So they're letting us, do some stuff. It's not Iran, it's Iraq. So anyway.
Right.
All right, Sandy, great show. Yeah,
It was
this
great.
is good. This is fun. We've talked about some really good fun things.
We talked about the world we live in is what we talked
It
about.
is.
Exactly what our show title is about.
So, that's right. And this world is getting crazier by the minute.
Absolutely.
And I'm not ready to go, but I think we're awful close. I like being here. I like finding these things out. I'm just mad at myself because I'm 71 years old and I could have been looking all this stuff up years ago, but I'm just now actually getting into the fascination of these things. So, I got a few more years ahead of me. I can fill it with some good stuff.
That's
Talk about it with you.
absolutely true.
Yep. I
We
love
got
talking about it with you, Sandy. I really do. I really do. So
we're a good team.
we are.
So,
Yeah.
yep.
Well, I wanna play. We got 5 minutes. We got 4 minutes. I can fill this real quick with 4 minutes, but I want you to see this because you're gonna like this. This is reminiscent of only visiting this place.
Good news, Christ is returning. Good news, now the world is learning. Good news, Christ is returning. Jesus gonna bring us all home. Good news, well I feel alright. Here come like a thief in the night. Yeah, he's gonna take us in flight, and Jesus gonna bring us on home. Oh yeah, people ain't that real good news. Oh yeah, well ain't that real good news. You hang up your blues. Ooh, ain't that a real good news? That a real good news. Yeah, real good news. And Jesus gonna bring us on home. Now that's the.
Is that good stuff or what?
It is very good.
It's
Very
good.
good.
We played that every week, or we played the song every week back in the radio days. But now that we can do video, I've put some things together. So
Radio and video.
yeah,
We've been going at this for a long time. So.
2012, I think, is when we did our first show. January 2012, we started doing all this. So that's a while.
It is at least a few years.
That's 14
for sure.
years. Well, over 14 years. We've had a couple of years of hiatus in there and stuff, but we've still been busy doing this and
That's right.
making things work. But anyway, well, Sandy, I'm good. If you're good,
I'm
and
good.
all God's children are good, and so we have hope. I heard somebody say last week that they don't have hope, they plan. And that made me think, if you plan for things to be right and it all goes well, then the hope is there.
That's right.
That's right. All right. So have a great week this week, and Sandy and I will see you next week.
Yep. Oh, and you can always join me and my husband, John, for at Life of Worship.
Yes.
On Shabbat there's things going on at Lamb too, but you can join us on our YouTube page at Life of Worship Ministries. Yeah, our Life of Worship Ministries, and we'll at noon Central and 3:00 Central for our services. And we would love to have you, or come into Amarillo and join us physically. That'll be even better. So.
And we have actually, I've added a new show to our schedule of your Life of Worship Torah portions. Since you gave me access to that, I have now downloaded that. And also next week, I'm going to have a big announcement of a brand new part of LAM, the LAM website, which is the Torah library, the Torah video, Torah portion video library. And all of your stuff is in there. So,
I hope you take the edited ones, not the unedited ones. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. No. If you got them posted, they're on there. So
they're not all mastered. They're not all mastered, but the mastered ones, yeah. So
I ain't worried about it. There's over 1,400 posts on there. So, all right, we'll see y'all next week. God bless. Have a good week. Shavuot.
All right. Shalom.
If you missed today's show or want to watch it again or want to tell someone where they can watch this episode, go to lamnetwork.tv, where you will find this show and all other live Lamb Show archives in the on-demand section of the website. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to tell somebody about the Messianic Lamb Network.
We are richly blessed to bring you what we believe is the fullest, most diverse, yet up-to-date progressive teachings, discussion, and prayer programming you can find anywhere on this planet. Be sure to take the tour of the MessianicLambRadio.com website. I'm Susan Hoogie, thanking you for joining us on the Messianic Lamb Video Network.